People sometimes hear me use the word cisgender to describe myself, and people sometimes ask me what it actually means. So I thought this was a good opportunity to let you know what it actually does mean. I'm also going to tell you about a few things around gender in general and how it relates to sexuality. And it's not supposed to be a lecture, it's kind of information. And I'm sure I won't get everything right, so let me know in the comments if I do get things wrong. So before I tell you what cisgender actually is, I need to explain a few things first. So there are two terms I'm going to use in this video: sex and gender. Now, when I say sex, I mean the sex you were assigned at birth, which is usually because of observations of your body and other things and chromosomes. And gender is what somebody self-identifies as. You've probably heard of transgender. Transgender just means somebody who was assigned one gender at birth, or one sex at birth, and now self-identifies as another gender. So therefore their gender is different to their sex. Now, trans is a Latin prefix which means across from. Cis, which is C-I-S, cis, is a Latin prefix from on the side of, or on this side of. So when you put gender after it, you have transgender, as we've just said, so a different gender from what they were assigned, and cisgender is somebody who identifies as the same gender as they were assigned sex. It's good to point out here that just because you could be cisgender doesn't mean you have to define as cisgender. You know, you can just define as a man. That's absolutely fine. I define myself as a cisgender male, but you don't have to. Right now, it's probably a good time to point out as well, there are more than just male and female genders. So you can have bigender, which means you define as both male and female, maybe at the same time or at competing times. You can have agender, where you don't define as either male or female or any combination of them. So this actually leads us on to pronouns. Now, I define as a cisgender male, so I'm quite happy for you to call me he and his, not a problem at all. But people's apparent gender may not be what they actually define as. So it may be important to find out when you're first talking to somebody what kind of pronouns they like to use. So for example, somebody who may look to you male actually defines as female. So they may want to be called she and her, but they may not. You know, they might, there's lots of other things they can be called they. That's a valid pronoun. It's a gender neutral pronoun. There was a university in America that during their welcome week handed out stickers which said, "My name is, and these are my pronouns." So they had 3 stickers. One was he and his, another one was she and hers, and a third one was they and theirs. So new students could wear these stickers with their name and their pronouns on, so nobody had to be embarrassed about what to call somebody. So how does somebody's defined gender affect sexuality and what kind of relationship they have with people? When it comes to cisgender, it's perhaps fairly easy to determine. So a cisgender male with a cisgender female, that's a straight relationship. A cisgender male with another cisgender male, that's a gay relationship. You know, it's very simple, you would think. But what if a trans male to female was in a relationship with a cis male? Is that heterosexuality? Or a cis male having a relationship with a trans female to male? Is that homosexuality? I don't really know. In fact, I don't really know at all. Perhaps somebody who does know can tell me in the comments, and tell everybody in the comments. That would be fantastic. What I do know is when you talk about people's bodies, when we talk about sex and sexual health in general, it can be a little bit exclusionary to use male and female, because just because somebody defines as female doesn't mean that they have a womb or female genitalia. So especially when it comes to sexual health, we should really use terms like somebody with a penis, or if you have a vagina, or if you have a womb. So this doesn't exclude trans people from what you're trying to convey. For example, women don't go for smear tests. Somebody with a vagina goes for smear tests. Men don't have to check their balls for cancer. Somebody with testicles checks their balls for cancer. You get the idea. I hope you can see it's important to take into account somebody's gender identity, which may or may not be their biological sex or how they present to the world. If you have any comments, please be respectful of other people, but do leave them just below. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up just down there. And don't forget to subscribe, because I will be doing more videos like this and on other things in my life, and they're coming out every single week. So I'll see you next time. Bye bye.